Of course, this is going to be heard in the future. So what the sense of being out, when we're recording this, we're outside of Baghdad. And when this is being heard, we may be inside Baghdad. The war may have been resolved. The war may still be going on in a protracted way. But the sense of, let me just pick up on what you're saying here and follow it through a little bit. The sense, particularly after 9/11, and you living in New York must have felt this with a great deal of impact. I remember talking about it with your friend Paul Auster. The sense is that we need to somehow build a shield, whether it's a shield around us to keep away weapons that Reagan wanted to build and that this administration wanted to build, or keep, in a preventive way, countries that could harm us or could deal with terrorists from brokering or passing out or disseminating weapons of mass destruction. It's a fear of that, isn't it?
Well, it's a curious thing. There seems to be a disparity between the administration itself, which seems to be headed toward increased isolationism, an increased sense that we don't need the world around us the way we used to. But in a place such as New York, I don't sense the same thing. It's still the great multicultural mass of influences and languages and faces and customs. And I don't sense a feeling that we're trying to keep the world out so much as there is that sense about America itself trying to keep the world out.
Yeah, New York is different from that.
That's how it feels to me.
Yeah, I think it feels. I think I understand. How did it feel to you after 9/11, though? I mean, I remember Paul Auster saying, it just had an extraordinary effect on him, and it did on so many New Yorkers. What about you?
It did on all of us, absolutely. Nothing seemed the same after that happened, and part of the reason was not just the attacks, but the fact that those two towers came down. It had an enormous emotional and psychological impact. This is something no one could imagine happening.
What do you think about that German composer who compared it to being like a great work of art because of the impact it had?
Well, I think he retracted the remark eventually, and it's a remark, of course, that deserved to be retracted.
Tasteless.
It makes no sense.
Cataclysmic, though. I guess he was thinking in terms of apocalyptic, and certainly you've written about cataclysm and apocalypse, and almost a kind of appetite for it in American popular culture.
Yeah, in the arts, not in the three-dimensional world, in the movies, on canvas, in literature. But when it happens, and when two of the largest buildings in the world come toppling, it becomes deeply ingrained in one's consciousness, and I think that people will feel this for decades to come.
Where are you going next after Cosmopolis?
Possibly into nonfiction, but I won't say more than that. And I'm not sure that will happen either.
Well, we will await with excitement and bated breath. Again, the newest novel is Cosmopolis. Thank you, Don.
Thank you. It's
Great
a pleasure
to spend some
talking
time with you. And I hope we'll see you again. The new novel, Cosmopolis, by Don DeLillo, his 13th. He is, of course, winner of the National Book Award and also the PEN/Faulkner and the Jerusalem Prize. And you're listening to Forum, also the author of Underworld. We'll be back with you our regular scheduled time. This has been a special pre-recorded edition of the Forum program, and I'm Michael Krasny.